Hey, I'm right back with another video. It's 2:23 p.m. It is December 5th, and it is Thursday afternoon. And I am sitting here and just kind of going over some things in my mind right now. And my mood is okay today. I'm a little bit agitated because, the last time I made a video, I was kind of pissed off and whatever, but I'm feeling better. No, I still have the same stance. I haven't changed the way I feel about the whole issue. But I'm just saying it's not like I'm like raging mad and it's not affecting my ability to concentrate or anything like that. Sometimes I get really upset about this issue, but today's not so bad. So I was thinking, of course, because I have so much time on my hands, I have a tendency to reflect back to certain conversations that I had with people before this whole thing just completely got crazy. I remember back in 2013, I was talking to someone that I used to know, which I don't talk to anymore, because I started realizing that something weird was going on. And I didn't like the fact that I felt like I was being exploited every time I'd go into a new job or whatever. So I was, like I said, because of this issue, I stopped communication with a lot of people because I couldn't trust them anymore. I didn't know exactly what was going on. At that time, I didn't even know to trace it back to my ex-family. I just knew that something weird was going on. But I had a conversation with this lady. And, I knew she probably remembers me as somebody who is very open-minded. And I am. I do have a very open mind, okay? But some people think, when you say you have an open mind, people want to know just how open your mind is, okay? How open is your mind? Because some people think that if you have an open mind, that means you're open to anything and everything, okay? Now, I would like to say, when it comes to anything and everything, do I have an open mind? I have an open mind to the fact that anything and everything does exist, okay? But that doesn't mean that I approve of them. Meaning, and if I do say that, how can I say this? Just because they exist or they do happen, doesn't mean that I myself participate in them, or that certain people do certain things that they shouldn't do them. I look at it this way. Whatever you do in life, as long as you're not hurting other people, that's your choice, okay? As long as you're not affecting the lives of others, you do what you want to do. It may not be my thing, okay? So I think when I was talking to this woman, who was, because she seemed like, oh my gosh, you have an open mind. That's terrible. Like, it's like a terrible thing. And I think maybe because there's a lot of gossip going on, and she probably knew that my so-called ex-husband, or I don't even know if let's just say Joel, okay? She probably knew that Joel and his mom were like that before I even knew, okay? So she probably thought, when I said I had an open mind, she probably thought, you're into that stuff, or maybe you're condoning it, or maybe you did take this woman's husband and then she probably thought all kinds of stuff, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you what I mean by my open mind, okay? Obviously, I had no idea that any of that was going on. But what I mean by, and I just want to clarify this stuff, okay? I understand there's all kinds of weird things that go on, okay? And some people might even be angry at me for describing those sort of things as weird, like the whole issue with Joel and his mom and everything. But there's some people who probably practice this, okay? There's some people who, there's these sort of arrangements that go on that might be, even though they're kind of taboo, some people might look at those as normal, okay? I can understand how certain people would actually fall into this sort of lifestyle, okay? And even though I'm aware that it exists, and I understand that these people are over the age of 18 and they can do whatever they want, then I guess I have to accept that. Meaning, I accept that it exists, but I myself don't want to be a part of anything like that. That there's a lot of things that people do that I don't necessarily agree with, okay? And when I say I have an open mind, I mean that I try to understand where people come from, where are they coming from with what they're thinking, because I understand that not everybody's going to see everything the same way that I see things. You can't expect me to have the same idea or a way of looking at things as, like, for example, my ex-boss in Chatsworth, okay? She had a completely different upbringing than I did. Now, there's certain things we probably do agree on, okay? But world views on how, we see people and our experiences are going to be completely different. So I understand that there's no way in the world that some people can see can have the same views as I do. We can match on some things, okay, but some things are just that you can't match. So I understand that. I respect other people as individuals. I understand that people have different wants, people have different needs, and I'm a very open-minded person, meaning that I believe that people should be able to live their life however they choose to live, as long as they are not breaking the law. Meaning and what I mean by that is they're not oppressing people, they're not hurting people, they're not damaging people, they're not taking things from people, and that's it. Okay, as long as you're doing those things, okay, then that's fine. And that means, to me, any and every sort of, I guess some people are really into different sort of sex acts. Okay, if that's what you want to do as an adult and you're not hurting anybody, then do that. But that doesn't mean that I'm doing that myself. You know what I mean? I respect the rights and lives of other people. And I understand, like, and this lady who said this, I would call her or consider her to be somewhat religious, okay? And I had a lot of respect for her, okay? And it's kind of unfortunate that, she ended up being influenced by my ex-family, because I really did like this woman. You know what I mean? So when you realize that you've been put in this program and they turn all these people against you, it's kind of like, well, that's kind of sucky. But then on the same time, I'd rather not have that sort of bridge. You know what I mean? If you're associated with these people, then it's better, because I need my peace of mind. That is so important to me, okay? So, but, I think that I look at certain people and I accept the way that they are. Okay, I accept how certain people are. Like, I think there's expectations that people put on other people in society. Like, for example, I was watching, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there's this advertisement for this lady who makes dresses, handmade dresses for little girls, okay? And they're cute, okay? They're very bright and colorful, and you can swirl around in them, and they're just kind of old-fashioned, and they're supposed to be meant as a keepsake, right? Well, she's probably about my age, okay? And she's a white lady, and she's got, a little short haircut, and at the ends, she's got some purple going on in the back and whatever, and I think it looks okay on her. Now, there are some people who are my age group who might look at this woman and say, well, she's too old to be doing that. She's too this, here's the thing. She has every right to look the way that she wants, okay? Because I've seen other people judge people, who are a certain age, who think that they should be, knitting sweaters or doing something other than what they're doing. People have the right to pursue their own individual happiness, okay? And I think there's a time and a place for everything. Like, for example, some people, such as the lady with the different colored hair, okay? I'm using her as an example because it's becoming very common, okay? I'm seeing people who are older than that. Now, this is not, I'm a black woman, I don't do those sort of things, but I've seen this with a lot of white women, okay? This is an example based on age, okay? What we expect from people at a certain age, okay? Some women are doing this, okay? And I remember back in the 80s when all of this sort of stuff was going on and people were like bashing other people who doing it. To me, it's becoming normal. Just like black fingernail polish, okay? People used to talk about black fingernail polish. You're wearing black fingernail polish, and then it was like, ooh, this taboo thing, right? And then slowly but surely it became, black nail polish, by the way, used to be something that was very hard to find, okay? Because that's how people were like, ooh, that's kind of weird, right? Like, it's black, And people associated it with maybe being wicked or whatever. It's just a color. Because done right, it can look quite sophisticated, really. But it's just that, and I remember back in the 80s, if you wanted, it was hard to find black nail polish. Not that I was a big wearer of black nail polish, but still, it was one of those things. Black, purple, those different colors, okay? And as time went on, those colors became more and more common and more common, and they become regular colors that you can choose from now. It's not like you'd have to bounce back to different stores to find what you're looking for. It's become common. It's become acceptable. You see what I'm saying? And the same thing with people who dye their hair. And now older people are doing it. Like, I saw this woman who in her 60s a couple days ago who had like purple colored hair. And then you have these age expectations on people. Now, when it comes to me, I know people think, okay, well, you could look at my room. I make, felt crafts, okay? Well, I used to be really into them. I'm not so much into them anymore, but I still do, okay? And I like my stuffed animals and whatever. People have these sort of expectations. Well, here's where my open mind comes in, okay? My open mind is that people have different needs, emotional needs, whatever. Maybe they feel happier when they're surrounded by things like this, okay? But of course, you're enjoying these things at the proper time. Now, if this particular woman, for example, any woman, okay, with these different color hair color styles, okay, this particular woman, okay, is looking for work, okay, there's certain job industries that don't necessarily have an issue with that. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, I know people who are into tattoos, who have like body piercings and stuff. Well, they belong into a certain sector. And it seems like that would be, whatever. I'm just saying is that sometimes expectations on people based on their age or maybe their race or anything, any sort of societal expectation on another person, an individual, it can get to be offensive, and it's subjective. You know what I mean? It's subjective. Somebody who, they say people who have tattoos, like some people have tattoos on their arm, okay? Well, now they have to think about getting a job, right? Well, luckily, it's only on this arm, right? So the solution is they should wear longer shirts, or they get the tattoo removed. You know what I mean? But when people sit here and like try to tell people how to act, or say, you're too old for this, you have no idea. And just because somebody likes something like that doesn't mean that they are not able to make good decisions. There's a difference between being babyish, meaning babyish is when like you can't face life, you can't deal with life. You know what I mean? And I think in my case, my ex-family put a lot of expectations on me because they didn't understand me. They thought, well, maybe she likes babyish things because she might have a mental disability or something like that. Go on Pinterest. There's a shitload of people my age and older who collect dolls, doll houses. There's some people who even walk around in diapers, okay? I mean, like, that's not my thing, okay? But people have emotional needs, okay? And if they're in the privacy of their own home, why are you so adamant about trying to pry them away from their natural habits? These are the things that they like to do. So I'm respectful, I'm mindful of that. So I believe in people having an open mind. What they do in their life is their own business. Now, it's different, like, for example, if you're one of those people who are into that baby life, and then you come to work and you got your security blanket and you're sucking your thumb, then that's kind of a different thing, okay? So you have to have a balance there, okay? There's a time and a place for everything. Okay, and if you're one of those people who like, bright colors or whatever, and but if you're like going to a particular meeting or something, then that you're going to have to wear something that looks a little bit more, I already said that I can't fit in anyway because I'm a black woman, okay? I can't change the color of my skin, okay? So the issue was talking about my hair issue. My hair issue is really the solution to my problem. My hair, what I wear now, it's my solution to this problem because I've had issues with it. So it's like when you put expectations on people, how can I say this? Some expectations of people are unrealistic and subjective and kind of violates their right to live, as a citizen of the United States. They have the right to, as long as if you work for like an insurance company where all the employees are pretty much seen, like you walk in the front door and you see all these people at their little desk, okay, at their little cubicles or whatever, and they're waiting for talking on the phone or whatever. And it's open to the public. The standard office attire is going to be, slacks for women, regular office. And that's what I've been wearing. That's exactly the kind of stuff I've been wearing for those particular jobs. But when I'm at other jobs, then I'm going to wear, like, for example, I can wear whatever I want to wear. But I'm used to wearing, standard type office type clothes or / casual stuff, because to me work is work, and when you go to work, I don't care, even if you are working in a C train or whatever, it's your job. You know what I mean? It's your job. I go there, and my relationship with these people is I'm an employee, and then they're my boss, and there's this level. To me, I've always believed that people should have that level of respect, to look as nice as you possibly can, to dress professionally to the best of your ability, okay? Even if you're working in an office trailer, okay? That still doesn't make a difference, but you still should do that. You know what I mean? So when people talk about my behavior or the things that I like, or try to tell me how to live my life or whatever, that's not acceptable to me. You know what I mean? And so I have an open mind, and I respect the rights of other people, and I kind of, people should, that's a no-brainer. I mean, everybody knows that you don't invade other people's space. And I hope when I make these videos, I'm not trying to offend the people that got involved in this. I know that some people thought that this should have been a group activity, like my previous employers and people on Facebook and everything. And I'm not trying to be mean, okay? And, for people who may have been well-intentioned or whatever, it's just that, certain things, I'm a very private person. I always like to be goofy. People know me as a joke teller, and I love being goofy. I do. Like, I was kind of cracking up over something stupid today. I forgot what it was about, but I guess I just get so irritated over stupid shit, right? Like, there was this article about I don't know, strange like perversions that like famous people had, right? And not necessarily perversions like sexual perversion. Some things were just based on I guess you consider this perversion, like people who like to inflict pain on other people, just weird shit, right? Just weird little things that people kind of hide about themselves. And I don't know, the article was poorly written, but anyway, I was getting kind of irritated because I was noticing so many flaws in the writing, right? So I was giggling to myself. I thought that was hilarious. I am a goofy person, okay? I am a very goofy person. I can be serious too, okay, which most people are kind of shocked to see my serious side, because I've always preferred to be more lighthearted. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why I like bright colors and stuff like that. I prefer to be, the happy-go-lucky type person. But since I was confronted with all of this, it's just like, I personally am kind of bored with being so serious all the time. It's like I miss being, more fancy free, I guess, But when I was going back to me saying that I have an open mind, I guess I respect the rights of others, and that I don't like to judge people too quickly. I know that people have their own way of doing things, and I don't ever want to try to tell people what to do. The only reason why I'm making these videos and talking about my personal things and how I see things. Man, I hate it when I get red pens, or any pen at all, and then I lose the cap. Oh, man. Shoot. That's going to dry up. Anyway, what I don't like is, kind of lost my train of thought here. I'm just, I try not to force my issue on people, but people would force their issue on me. Like I mentioned, I had no idea that any of this was going on, and the fact that it has affected my jobs and everything in my life. And so then now I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And so when I figured out what this whole thing was about, then I said, okay, I'm going to come here and I'm going to make some videos and talk about it, which I've made. By the way, I'm over 1,000 videos. I have made 1,000, and I think this is 1,009 videos. That's a lot of videos. Okay, it's a lot of videos and a lot of things that I've been talking about, because this is important, because it helps me to go and back on all these timelines and remember all these things that happened, and then I'm able to pinpoint exactly what happened. So not pinpoint exactly, but I'm pretty close. So I respect other people, even when people's ideas don't necessarily agree with mine. I still respect their thing. I'm more like one of those people that agree to disagree, and then I can move on. And I don't want to have any more. I do have these ill feelings towards people who've done this to me, like this whole thing that was brought down upon me that I didn't ask for. I still have ill feelings towards that, and I'm always going to. There are certain people, once you break ties with people, you don't want to be reminded of them. It's just like this severing of ties. And so it's in my mind, I'm kind of getting over that. I'm trying to get over that, and it's because um, it's something that's been going on for a very long time, and I know that people, um, like my perps, my ex family, and I suppose Joel's family. I shouldn't refer to him as my ex husband because I don't even know. That's so weird. Um, I just think that these people were in my life and they're not anymore, and I don't want to deal with that. And I think that they misjudge me, and I'm referring to my ex family mainly. Of course, people misjudge me anyway because most people that know me based on what their assumptions are, and they know me as a teenager. They know me as a teenager, and or somebody who was like in my young adults who've made mistakes, and they always feel as though they need to correct me because they want to base this on that. They want to base everything based on what I did in the past or whatever. And so if I have a different idea than what they think or how they feel or whatever, then they feel like they have to challenge it. And I don't believe in challenging people. Like, I know there's people in this town that probably don't like me, or people like me, or anybody. They just might completely think that they might be in complete opposition to me and then everything that I think of or everything I personally believe, okay? But I personally just kind of stay out of the way of those sort of people. But I respect the fact that they have that feeling. You know what I mean? And it's very strange because I think people they generally want people to feel the same way that they do. They do, okay? Because when you have a shared link or whatever, you feel a sense of camaraderie with that person. And it's not that I don't have anything in common with other people, because I do. I'm in isolation mostly because of my crazy family who thought it was okay for them to do this to me, like try to take control of my life, which I resent, completely. So it's important for me to, kind of clear that up. That yes, I do have an open mind. I don't believe just because I accept or acknowledge the fact that other people do certain things doesn't mean that I'm going to do it myself. So this whole issue with Polly and Joel, it never happened. Okay, but I do believe that I was painted out to be like somebody who took her man, and I thought they were mother and son, and I thought it was like one of those regular relationships, like mother and son relationship, non-incestuous relationship. I that's what I thought. It would have never crossed my mind in a million years. You know what I mean? Just wouldn't. And but I think that that's what this lady that I was talking to on the phone, she assumed that when I said I had an open mind, she thought that I would probably do something like that. And just because you had a child out of wedlock doesn't mean that you have all these that you're going to be willy-nilly and you're just going to be with anybody. It's not like that. I think because my ex-family kind of is very naive, okay? They're naive to do the stuff that they're doing. The way that this whole thing that it shows a sense of immaturity. Like, they think I'm immature because I like stuffed animals and stuff like that. This here is immature, okay? People can like cute things. I love cute things. When I see cute stuffed animals or dolls or whatever, or Hello Kitty stuff, I buy it. I do. That is, of course, if I can afford it, but I get those things for myself because I like those things. They make you smile. They make you happy, and there's a lot of people who do. Like, there's a lot of adults who do. Like, I know there's a lot of Hello Kitty T-shirts for adults. There's Hello Kitty backpacks, purses, checkbooks, what do you call it? What do you call those things? Steering wheel covers. Okay, those things are made for adults. Okay, they're not made for children. So there's nothing wrong with those things, And I just get tired of being like people thinking and picking at everything that I do, or thinking that everything I do has to be challenged. I think that's one of the biggest issues with my ex-family, and then dealing with their environment. That I'm just going to refer to it as a toxic environment. When I talk about the toxic environment, it is a toxic environment that my ex-family created, which has set a platform for my social interactions. Okay, because they encourage other people to do the same things or pick up where they left off, and nobody should have to be interrogated or justify why they do what they do. Like that would be like me, going over there to somebody and asking them why are they doing what they're doing, and it's not even affecting anybody. Like asking them, watching what they're wearing, or studying what they're eating, or whatever. Those sort of things are very intrusive. Okay, they're very intrusive, and it's like, I don't know. And then they want to set this whole operation thing up, and it's annoying. You know what I mean? I'm not somebody who really wants to be out in the open. And when it comes to this issue on Facebook, maybe they had good intentions. Maybe that's what they wanted. I don't know. But I will tell you, from everything that I experienced, it didn't seem like it was something that had good intentions. It seemed like there was a lot of backbiting. And I think most of that, the hatred and all the feelings of hatred, because I felt intense hatred. Especially, there were certain times, I'm going to tell you what, it could be written if it was written in a book or a movie, it would be a very intense scene. Because I know that my ex-family has this, like, hatred towards me, and that's one of the reasons why I felt this so strongly, and they always felt as though my behavior needed to be corrected. It didn't need to be corrected. Some people, like I said, are just not meant to cross paths. They're not meant to be friends. They're not meant to be whatever, and it's just better to leave it at that. But I'm a peaceful person, and peace comes from it within. It's not something that can be encouraged on a wide scale. Okay, if you're not peace with yourself, you're going to always have like little wars with other people, and you're going to need people to validate you and tell you that you're right, or force people to do things that you want them to do so that you can feel better about yourself. Just weird shit like that. Okay, I'm not interested in what goes on out there. I'm really not. I'm not interested in what goes on outside in the world. When I think about what goes on out in the world, I'm just like not happy with it, because people have very bad ways of thinking. They have incorrect thinking. This is a good example of incorrect thinking. Just a bunch of arrogant people thinking that they had rights and whatever. And really, I'm ready to bury the hatchet. Not bury the hatchet like I feel like we're going to be friends, because we shouldn't be. There's no way in the world I would ever be friends with somebody who would do this shit to me. There's no way. Okay? But I will say that I'm leaving in peace. Like, just done. I'm done, And that's the best thing you can do. And what I want to do is I want to fill my life up with other people. People that I select. Okay? I don't want, Manchurian candidates. I don't want people who are double-sided, or they have, double allegiances. I don't want that. I can't deal with that. Okay? Because, I do everything I can to protect my environment, meaning I do everything to keep peace of mind. And my ex-family destroyed my peace of mind. Okay? They had no problem putting my home under surveillance, thrashing my name in the street. They had no problem doing that because they didn't know me. They don't care about me as a person. They don't see me as a human being. Or they think of me as somebody who had a mental issue because of this whole issue with Stephen Lyles or whatever. And so they feel as though these people like that, whether it's a mental disability of where you, I don't have a learning disability, but what I'm saying is any sort of mental disability or something like that. They feel as though people like that are too dumb to know that they're being mistreated. Okay? My family did everything they could to exploit me, to abuse me. And I could never look at these people like, I could never feel anything for them, after that. So anyway, I think I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that, I do have an open mind. I know there's different people who have different religions. I know there's, for example, Mormons. Some Mormons believe in polygamy. You know what I mean? It's not for me, okay? But, I understand there's certain polygamists that work within, the guidelines of the law. Meaning, like, they're not taking multiple wives and putting them on the books. Like, they're not getting a multiple marriage license. They're marrying one woman, and they got, like, all these other women that are kind of like their sister wives. I find this topic interesting because, I've always had an interest in religion and how other people see things. And My true feeling is if I was to meet a Mormon family that lived next door to me, I would be kind to them. I would be respectful to them. Is it my thing? No. It's not my thing, okay? But I feel as though they are worthy of respect. They are a human being. They are a human being. Okay, whether I agree with them or not, they still deserve to live their life. And if they are on the wrong path, okay, I'm not saying they are or they're not, okay, but it's just not for me. But if they are on the wrong path, then I look at it this way, that this is their spiritual lesson that they have to learn. Okay, they're either going to be corrected, and if they are right on their spiritual path, then that's what they need to do. Okay, that's not for me to tell them how to live their life. It just isn't, So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. I'll be back with another video some other time later. Have a great day.